Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Zero Trust for Mac, How to Put Strategy into Practice. We're excited to have you with us. My name is Willa Murphy, and I'm joined by my wonderful colleague, Inaje Petrus. Today, we will walk through how to strengthen Mac security using Zero Trust principles without disrupting end users or existing workflows. Here's a quick look at what we'll cover. Zero Trust, a refresher on what this means and why it matters now more than ever. The pillars of Zero Trust, diving into identity, device health, and access controls. Zero Trust for macOS, and how these principles apply using Jamf specifically for Mac-first organizations and the challenges they face. How to balance security policies with Mac user experience, because security that frustrates users won't last. And lastly, how to make Zero Trust work with your existing tools.
At its core, Zero Trust is a security model built on the idea of never trust, always verify. Every device, user, and connection is continuously validated before granting access to company or sensitive resources. So, why is this critical today? There are three big drivers. The first is remote and hybrid work. Employees are now connecting from anywhere, not just behind a corporate firewall. Second are the rising threats. Attackers increasingly target Mac endpoints and identity systems. And third are compliance requirements. Regulations now demand demonstrable proof of strong security controls in your organization. This shift makes zero trust not just a best practice, but a necessity.
So let's break it down into three core pillars of Zero Trust. First, we have identity. Cloud identity is a critical element of trust in the modern workplace. Integrating Jamf with your identity provider is crucial to support secure authentication and MFA experiences designed for Macs. Next, we have device health, defining what a healthy Mac looks like by ensuring that operating systems are kept up to date, proper encryptions are enabled, and devices are free of threats. With Jamf, you can continuously monitor compliance and device posture, not just at login, but throughout the entire user session. And lastly, access controls, enforcing conditional access policies so that only healthy, compliant Macs gain access to company resources and data, enabling both network level and app level access enforcement, while integrations with our Zero Trust network or existing tools like Zscaler extend this to the network edge.
Now, zero trust isn't always one size fits all, especially when talking about macOS. Our mission at Jamf has always been to help organizations succeed with Apple. We understand that organizations and users are choosing to leverage more macOS devices due to their security frameworks, ease of use, and many other capabilities. So, what does this look like with Jamf? Trusted Access at Jamf is our comprehensive approach to bringing together Jamf's management and security tools. The goal? To make sure that only authorized users on enrolled devices that are secure and compliant can access your organization's sensitive data. With Trusted Access, your organization can tackle today's key security challenges. Protecting company data everywhere it lives, your data should only be accessible from trusted, secure devices without adding friction for users or IT, all while keeping attackers out. And empowering users' productivity from anywhere. Whether they're in the office, at home, or on the go, they can stay both secure and productive across every app and service they use. Macs face unique security threats from sophisticated malware to targeted phishing campaigns. At the same time, Mac users often operate in high value roles like developers, creatives, executives, making them prime targets. The challenge? Most zero trust solutions were designed with a Windows centric mindset. They could overlook Mac's OS unique architecture, workflows, and user expectations. For Mac first organization, forcing a Windows model onto macOS may result in frustration, reduced adoption, and ultimately weaker security. That's why a Mac first approach is essential. From zero-touch deployment and identity management to advanced threat protection and zero-trust network access, each capability is supported by Jamf.
Here's the reality. Security at the expense of user experience just doesn't work. Mac users expect seamless workflows, intuitive designs, and minimal friction. Intrusive prompts, non-native tools, or clunky logins, that's a recipe for frustration and risky workarounds. So how do you balance security policies while maintaining the end user's experience on their Mac? This is where Jamf comes in. Our approach preserves the native macOS experience while enforcing strong zero trust policies. With Jamf, you can provide an experience that users love and a workplace organizations trust. Apple has always been unique, and enabling zero trust in your macOS environment is no different. Let's start with how Jamf transforms Mac deployment from a manual, time-consuming process into an automated zero-touch experience that gets employees productive immediately. With Jamf, we make Mac enrollment and management easy to deploy and configure so that you can manage Macs at scale from anywhere. When we talk about identity and privilege management, users can easily authenticate into their Macs and company tools with a single set of credentials, all while given the ability to elevate their privileges if needed. Jamf integrates seamlessly with your existing identity infrastructure to maintain security and end-user productivity. With our Zero Trust network, users can safely connect to their devices, apps, and data that they need to be productive. Jamf replaces traditional VPNs with intelligent, policy-based network access that adapts to real-time device and user risk. Your organization will also gain complete visibility into your Mac fleet with actionable insights and compliance assurance. Jamf provides comprehensive visibility and automated compliance reporting to transform your ability to understand and manage your Mac fleet. And with advanced threat detection and prevention, we can keep Macs secure without compromising performance. Jamf provides enterprise-grade endpoint protection that works with Apple's native defenses rather than against them. And beyond the endpoint, Jamf extends protections to web browsing and online activities, ensuring comprehensive security regardless of the user's location. Jamf can provide safe browsing experiences that block malicious content while maintaining end-user experience. Here we can see how Jamf Zero Trust policies create a comprehensive security ecosystem around your Mac devices. The enrolled Mac communicates its management and security status to Jamf, which calculates a real-time risk score based on device compliance, security posture, and user behavior. This risk assessment determines users' access to both SaaS applications and on-premise resources. Zero Trust allows for real-time decisions and access permissions that update automatically based on current device risk and compliance status. These risk calculations adapt to changing and evolving threat landscapes and device conditions automatically. High-risk devices might be denied access or granted limited permissions to said resources, while compliant devices receive full access based on their user roles. Meanwhile, all web traffic flows through DNS over HTTPS protection, ensuring that both application access and web browsing are secured through integrated security controls. And with Jamf's comprehensive protection, it is seamless. Users don't experience additional authentication steps when their devices remain compliant and low risk. The beauty of this approach is that security decisions happen automatically based on current device state, not static policies that can quickly become outdated.
What this means for your end users: no unnecessary pop-ups, native Apple workflows that feel familiar, policies are deployed silently without disrupting productivity. For example, we work with clients who need to enforce security requirements and perform regular compliance checks on their devices. With Jamf, the entire process runs automatically in the background, so users can remain productive while still giving IT full visibility and control. That's zero trust that doesn't get in the way. This layered approach ensures only the right person on the right device can access the right resource, no exceptions. When a user first receives their macOS device, thanks to the power of Apple automated device enrollment workflow, they'll be able to power it on and begin setting it up without the need for IT intervention. IT can customize which setup assistance steps the end users have to navigate through to ensure a fast and efficient onboarding process and avoid the user configuring unnecessary or unauthorized settings. Then, thanks to the integration with a cloud identity provider, the user can create their local account using these same credentials, meaning they have one password to access both their macOS device and company resources. At this point, they are then dropped into their device and are able to begin working with their company resources immediately. So now it's time for users to access their corporate applications. The user will navigate to self service, their customized app and resource center, and click on their company portal. The user will need to enter the identity provider credentials to access their assigned apps and cloud tools. From here, the user will attempt to access a resource like Outlook. The user will then receive a block page letting them know that their access is restricted as Jamf Trust and the Zero Trust network is disabled. Jamf Trust is a desktop app for end user devices that carries out the access and security policies set by Jamf. The user can then launch the Jamf Trust application to connect to the trusted network. Using the IDP credentials already stored in Safari, a user can enable their Zero Trust network access. In a matter of seconds, this will enable the end user to securely access corporate resources. This will also give them additional visibility into the security of their device. When the user navigates back to the company portal and clicks on Outlook, they will now be able to successfully launch this tool since they're connected to the trusted network. Now the user navigates back to self-service and clicks on their Teams application. Here they will see that they have received a new message from their quote security team. The user, not knowing that this is a suspicious message, clicks on the link. They are then redirected to a block page letting them know that the site was unsafe and classified as phishing attempt.
In a new browsing window, the user will attempt to access a site called gambling.com. Because gambling sites are not allowed to be accessed on company devices, the user is brought to a block page informing them that this site is blocked and to contact their administrator for more information. Next, the user then receives another team message from IT asking them to open up a secure application on their Mac. This message seems legitimate, so the user goes to their desktop and tries to open the application. At this point, Jamf is able to detect that this is actually a malicious or risky program, and it has been blocked and quarantined before the end user can launch it. When the user navigates to their system settings, we can see that they are running an out-of-date operating system version on their device. We also know that the user had clicked on a phishing link and tried to launch a malicious piece of software, both of which are actions that could have compromised their device. When the user goes to check the Jamf Trust application, it states that their device is now at risk and the operating system version is out of date. If the user navigates back to their company apps and tries to access a resource like Outlook, they are unable to because the risk level of their device is too high. The block message they receive here asks them to contact their administrator for more information, and they also receive a notification from Jamf Trust asking them to review their device's security settings and try again. The user then receives a notification that a software update is now available to them. This has been configured and deployed to the device using Jamf. The device will then restart to complete the update, and the user will be asked to re-authenticate using their cloud identity provider credentials. Once the user is inside their Mac, we can see here that the operating system version has now been updated. And if they navigate back to self-service and click on their company portal and select an application like Outlook, this will now launch successfully. When the user checks their Jamf Trust application, they will see that they are still connected to the trusted network and that their device is now free of threats. This is why they were able to successfully gain access to their sensitive company resources. This demo showcases Jamf's approach to zero trust and how secure and simple it is for users to navigate on their devices, all while keeping your organization's data and hardware secure. One of the biggest misconceptions about zero trust is that you need to rip and replace existing tools to adopt it, and that's not always true. Jamf maintains the balance between existing business processes and security, meaning that you don't need to introduce unnecessary friction or steps for your end users. As we know, this can lead to employees looking for workarounds, which can ultimately introduce more risk into your environment. So how do we make zero trust work with your existing toolset? Jamf is built on integration, not replacement. And here are some of the ways that we can fit seamlessly into your existing technology stack. We support identity providers like Okta, Entra, Google, and Ping to connect users to their macOS devices and company resources based on roles, permissions, and access policies. We integrate with security products like endpoint detection and response tools and security information and event management systems to further bolster your security and reporting capabilities for investigation and remediation. We can also integrate with other zero trust networks to ensure that users stay connected to company resources whenever they need. This also extends to productivity platforms such as Google Workspace and Microsoft 365, where we can ensure secure access while keeping users productive. This approach lets you maximize what you already have while extending it to Mac in a way that works natively and seamlessly, helping your organizations to further preserve the macOS experience that end users know and love. Feel free to check out our Jamf Marketplace at marketplace.jamf.com for more information on other integrations and partnerships that Jamf has available.
Before we wrap, here are some key points to remember. Zero trust is essential in today's remote, threat-heavy, compliance-driven world, and this requires a Mac-first approach. Jamf is here to help your organizations focus on balancing strong security and management with a native Apple experience. Remember, it's all about integration, not replacement, which is the key to success. When possible, embrace a Mac first approach while still leveraging your existing toolset to avoid friction and failed adoption. Lastly, start small with zero trust principles and communicate the why to users so they understand the benefits and impact of these securities. You may also need to tailor policies by department as some users may need more flexibility than others, but all users must meet a baseline level of compliance. And since Jamf allows for different policies, your users can stay productive without compromising corporate security, no matter their role or location. To help you take the next step, please leverage our guides, product documentation, and training opportunities by visiting jamf.com. We also encourage you to connect with your Jamf representatives to explore how Zero Trust for Mac can work in your organization. Thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you being here. And remember, if you're looking for a simple and secure user experience, look no further than Jam for Mac. Thank you.